See Destiny Productions presents Power to Win with Dr. Valerie Daniels Carter. Expect a powerful half-hour broadcast that allows you to engage from the business world to the spiritual world, to be inspired and to be informed, empowering, enlightening, mentoring, enriching. Like us on Facebook and follow us on YouTube and Instagram. Remember, you have the power to win with Dr. Valerie Daniels Carter.
And thank you for joining with me tonight. Allow me to open up the Power to Win session with our normal powerful prayer. Father, for all things we are thankful for your goodness and your mercy. We thank you for another session on tonight. Thank you for these, your people, the listeners and seers. Help us to be a blessing to those that hear and those that are watching. Continue to strengthen us. Continue to bless us. Even as we navigate through this season, look on our families, look on our homes, look on our businesses, look on our environment. Bless the government. Bless your people everywhere. This is my prayer in Jesus' name. Thank you. Well, welcome. And I know many of you have been waiting for this night. But as we begin the Power to Win session, again, I request that you take a moment to like, share, and tag this session. Invite entrepreneurs and business executives and pastors and ministry leaders and missionaries and young people who want to navigate and grow and develop. Take a moment to invite them to join us each and every Tuesday night, and invite them to join us via radio on Sundays and Mondays and Wednesdays. I want to take just a private moment and thank all of you who have recently purchased my new book, From Pandemic to Promise. It's this book right here, From Pandemic to Promise. And I promise you, I wrote this book with my heart. And even as I was penning the book, so many times I would go back and just revisit areas and say, wow, this is amazing. I never knew this. Oh my goodness. And so I want to share this book with you during the book review on February 17th. Take a moment because you have to register in order to be a part of the book review. That book review is February 17th, 2021. And I guarantee you will enjoy it. So I invite you to join with me. It's going to be a wonderful event, and I just want you to be a part of it. I know today is the 16th, and that means the book review is tomorrow, so you better not just stop what you're doing right now, but after you finish hearing the session, go to the website, or you may have to pick up the phone and call them, but we'll get you taken care of. My website is www.valeriedanielscarter.com. And when you sign up for the book review, not only will you get an autographed book from me, but you will also receive a prayer shawl. And these prayer shawls have been a blessing to so many people across the country. Some of the brothers were saying, well, we don't feel so comfortable wearing a prayer shawl. I said, well, wear it as a scarf, brother. Y'all know how to fix up a scarf on you. But I'm going to tell you a little secret here. Some of the men, they really want to be a part of the prayer shawl, but they don't quite want to wear, the shawl on their shoulders, and they may not want to wear it as a scarf. So what they do is they cut the scarf and they put it in their pocket, or they put it in their handkerchief, or they put it in their back pocket, their wallet, or things of that nature. It's still a covering for you. So be a part of it. Men and women can be a part of it. So take a moment after the session tonight, go sign up for the event, and the proceeds from this event help us in continuing our educational and ministry initiatives both here and abroad. We have so many individuals that are in need, and the proceeds from these events help us to do that. I also encourage you to visit our merchandise page. On our merchandise page, we have Power to Win items, and those items also help us in advancing ministry and advancing education. And literally, my life is about intergenerational transfer and giving back and trying to share. So won't you help me be a blessing to others by going to our merchandise page and getting some of the Power to Win merchandise and then just showing it off to people. I guarantee you it'll make me feel good. Well, tonight I want to take a moment and really discuss a subject that you guys have been beating me up over the last several months to do. And so if I don't finish it tonight, I guarantee you we will finish it on the next session, because it is so very critical that we understand how to execute in excellence in business. And for years, I started in business in 1982. I know I don't look like it. I don't look like what I've been through. I do color girls. I do cover up this gray, but that's okay. Keep living and you'll figure it out too. But I started in business in 1982. When I started in business, there wasn't a huge segment, number one, of females, number two, of African American females, and number three, of people of color that wanted to execute on a global or wide-based level. So I started in a very defined environment, wanting to execute in excellence and wanting to grow a significant business. I certainly had education, didn't have as much money as I needed, and I'll tell you this today, I'm not ashamed of my game. Some people, they're so untouchable, you can't touch them, you can't talk to them, they won't tell you the truth. My vision has always been more expensive than my ability to pay for it, even to this day. My vision has always been greater, but that gives me capacity to dream. And one day, maybe I'll have $100 trillion and I won't have to worry about it. But right now, I don't have it, but I do have $100 trillion vision. And I'm not going to stop dreaming because I don't have the trillion. Don't you stop dreaming. Even if you need 100,000 or 10,000, don't stop dreaming. Just keep the process moving forward. And you never know what doors are going to open. You never know how some doors are going to open. So many times we look for things to come one way and they come another way. That's because the Lord knows when we need, what we need, how we need it. So many business entrepreneurs come to me and they say, Dr. Carter, tell us how to get started in business, or tell us how to grow and expand our business. Tell us the tools that we need in order to be successful. Do you mind sharing your story with us? And I kind of laugh because I said, my story? That would be great if it was just one story, baby. But I got so many stories to tell y'all might change y'all mind. Listen, I first want to start out by saying to you, there is what I call the entrepreneur within all of us. And you can either own the business or you can be a part of the business. It doesn't make you any greater simply because you may be the owner. It may mean that you're going to work 10 times harder in order to get something done. So never minimize your position because you feel like you have to be the owner. Listen, take ownership everywhere you go. I tell people all the time, the entrepreneurial spirit should reside in you, whether you write the check or somebody's writing the check to you. And if you do that, you'll always have what I consider to be the right mentality for business. So when young people especially, I love talking to young entrepreneurs that are trying to get their business started. And when I was growing up, and this is a true statement, they would tell you, write your business plan. Then take your business plan and have somebody review it. And after they review it, then follow the steps that they tell you to follow. Well, you can tell anybody that kind of stuff. Yes, you do need a plan of action, and you do need a business plan. You have to set the plan or the process that you need in order to grow. But you also need to understand how to create the business plan. You need to understand how to take what's seeded in you in terms of vision and lay it out so that step by step you can execute without having to hit some of the roadblocks that some of us had to hit. Listen, when I started in business, I didn't have people to tell me, Val, don't do that, or you better watch out for that, or be careful when you're negotiating this way or that. I had to learn a lot of things by trial, error, and experience. Trial, error, and experience. So I have made it my business to make sure when other young people are serious about starting or growing and developing their business, I do whatever I can to assist them and suggest that they take these 10 steps. And I'm going to tell you something. Until you do these 10 steps, don't even think about starting or perhaps growing your business. Because if you avoid any of this process, it will cause you unnecessary problems. So here's where you start. There are 10 questions when anybody ever asks me, Sister Carter or Dr. Carter or Val Carter or Mentor Carter, tell me what I can do to get my business started. Well, first thing is, you got to be able to identify, and you got to be able to succinctly answer the questions I'm going to ask you. Why is that important? It's important because if you can't answer these questions, it's going to impede you in your ability to start, grow, and develop your business. And if someone had asked me these questions when I first started, boy, there's no telling where I would be today. Woo! I want y'all to know, you guys would have to just contain me somewhere. But no, the first thing I tell them is to read my book. Your business is his business. It's where destiny takes you. Why is that important? Because understanding that you want to have your plan incorporated in God's purpose for your life is critically important. So the first thing I tell them is to read my book. Your business is his business. It's where destiny takes you. And of course, you can go to my website, www.valeriedanielscarter.com, and get that book. You better know you can. Anyway, so read the book. It talks about the passion that I had to have in order to start my business. I started my business in a predominantly all-white male industry where it was not readily acceptable for not just a black female, but a female to be engaged in large-scale franchising. There was not the level of respect for women that wanted to go into that marketplace because for so long, men had really captivated that space. So, the first question you ask yourself after you've read Valerie Daniels Carter's book, Your Business is His Business. It's where destiny takes you. After you've read the book, the first thing you got to do is say to yourself, why is this important? Why is what I'm trying to do important? And guess what? If it's not important to you, it ain't going to be important to nobody else. So you have to determine, why is it important? Once you can make a definitive statement as to why you're doing what you're doing is important, it will make a significant difference on how you move forward. You got to define the relativity of the area. Let me just share this with you. In a space, there is always somebody doing what you're doing. In a space, there is always someone executing with the same similar idea that you may have. So you have to be able to define why what you're doing is more important than your counterpart. So that's the first thing. Why is it important? Why is it valuable? The second point, what is the problem and the burning platform? In other words, what's the need for me to do this? Is there a need for me to create and address whatever I think is important? Do I perceive it as important enough that it is burning in my spirit? I have an idea of how to execute against a plan. Here's a story from a young man that wanted to build and I'll call it this, and you guys can appreciate what I'm saying. He wanted to build a business, but he had no burning platform. He says, I just want to be in business to be in business. I said, well, what type of business do you want to be in? I don't care. I just want to be in business. Well, you don't know what kind of business that you want to be in? No. You don't understand that you need to define what you're trying to do? I just want to be somebody's boss. Well, that's not really the reason to have a burning platform. You don't have a situation. So you identify a problem. You look for a niche. Okay? So you look for a niche. And then you understand, what is the real purpose of this niche? How can I execute in this space, in this platform, with excellence and bring value to somebody else? Because unless you're bringing value to somebody else or something else, it really doesn't matter. No one is just going to pay for the fact that you want to be in business. You have to bring value to the platform. You have to set the stage. The stage has to be clear. It has to be very and let me say it in this manner, it has to be very heartburning to you. You have to see it. It's got to be, it wakes you up at night. And sometimes when I first started my business, I would wake up at night and I'd see how I could develop and how I could cultivate culture and change things. You have to have an internal motivation to be able to deliver and execute. The next thing you have to ask yourself, who is my customer? Who is my customer? In other words, who are you trying to influence? And really, do they want to be influenced by your product? Have you defined the platform such that you can also define who your customer is? I can tell you right now, as I look over some of the businesses that I'm involved in, there are certain sectors of people that's just not my customer. Let's take and I'll just make a little, comical for you. Let's take a big girl store. Okay? They have some of the loveliest clothes and some of the most modern designs out there, and some big girls can go in there and come out looking like queens. That's their customer, the big girl. A little skinny girl walk up in that store. Everybody in the store gonna be looking and wondering, like, who you buying for? Your mama, your grandmama, your auntie, what. So you gotta define the customer. Understand who your customer is. I remember so vividly. It's kind of comical. I used to be. Now I can laugh at myself. I can say this about myself, and if you talk about me, I'm going to certainly remember it. When I got married, I was a size 6. My wedding dress is sitting in my closet right now, and it says 6 on it. Okay? 6. Okay? 6. There is no way in the world that I can put a size 6 on this lovely body right now. So, for someone to understand that I may have been in one place and I may have been a customer at one time in one position, I also have to understand when I've shifted from that place. Okay? So understand who your customer is. Understand it. Your customer is shifting, and understand how they're moving and what changes have to be made. Don't laugh at me. Some of y'all used to be 6s. Some of y'all used to be 10s and 12s. Some of y'all used to be 14s and 16s. Ooh, need I say 18 or 20? No. I just wanted to have a little fun with you. But yes, understand the transitional nature of your customer. Don't get stuck selling only size 6s when your customer is now a 10. Understand when to change, how to navigate, how to make sure that you're relative as your customer continues to change. Next point I want to make. You have to understand what is the solution and what value does the solution create? What is the solution? And what value does the solution create? So if you've got a solution for someone, and you also can offer value, and you can show the creative value of your solution, you're going to get the attention of your consumer or customer. One thing I always challenge young people with, they get a great idea and they want to charge so much money for just really starting out. You ain't got no experience. Who are you charging? For what? What value are you bringing to the table? Before you was born, I was doing that. So you got to create value around your solution. Young people, take time to learn your skill. Take time to understand the value of your skill. Take time to understand the intrinsic, inherent value of what you can bring to the table and your distinguishing difference. What distinguishes you? What makes your value worth something greater than someone else? If one brand is selling hamburgers 2 for $5, then the other brand has got to determine what will make me give a greater value for a greater product. So create the value, not just the solution, but the value, because people look not only for excellence, but they look at what excellence may cost them. Remember this, there's always going to be somebody that's going to be able to outthink you, outprice you, and outdo you. So you have to always remain relative and keep the burning platform of what you're trying to create and do and its importance in front of you. Never get so comfortable in charging what you charge or doing what you're doing that you don't always evaluate where you are in your process. Remember satellites? You all remember satellites. When they first came out, there were these huge dishes. They were so big until you wonder, what was going on in the world. Now a satellite can go in your backyard. It can go on your roof, and people almost don't even know that it's there. When satellites first came out, they were so expensive. I remember my husband bought one without permission and put it in the center of our front yard. And I came home one day and I saw this big old dish. And I said, Lord, what in the world? Today, that same dish is irrelevant. It has no value to it. What would a business person look like coming to me, trying to sell me a huge satellite dish? Now we have small dishes. They give us better receptivity. They give us better programming. We can watch 500, 600 channels on a show. I mean, it's like night and day. Things change. Things evolve. Things move forward. Don't get stuck because you had an idea that was great, but you did not take the time to continue to develop it and mentor it and grow it. And you did not take the time to continue to allow yourself to expand upon your vision and solution and continue to add great value with what you had to offer. I've only gotten to the 4 stages and I've got 6 more to go. I know next week I'm going to try to finish this because these are the critical things. I'm going to talk about the business model, the financial model, the channel to market. Understanding how to do these things is critically important. But I got to lay the platform for you because I don't want you to go and slip when you don't have to. Understand what's important. Understand the problem and the burning platform, why it's necessary. Understand your consumer. Understand the solution and the value that it can bring and you can bring with it. Those are the first 4 points that I've covered off on today. I know my time is out. I promise you we're going to get through these 10 steps. I've done them. They work. And when we get to the exit strategy, you will be blessed. But don't do anything until we complete this 10-point strategy. Thank you so much for joining with me in prayer tonight. I'm going to close and invite you again to visit my website, www.valeriedanielscarter.com. Father, for this time of sharing, for this time of impartation, for these leaders that desire to grow their businesses and their ministries, help us to do thine will. Give us the wisdom, the knowledge, the strength, and the understanding to be able to do the things that will make us better and make others better. Look on our community. Look on our homes. Look on our families. Look on our government. Look on your people everywhere. Touch, set free, and deliver is my prayer. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you for joining with me on tonight. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and Instagram. Subscribe to our YouTube and take a moment and always share. Don't forget, you can absolutely send me your questions. We are going to do our best to answer all of the questions that you send us through these series of empowerment sessions. Again, be blessed, and thank you so much for sharing. God bless you.
We're so glad you joined us tonight. Please like us on Facebook. and follow us on YouTube and Instagram. We look forward to seeing you next week. Remember, you have the power to win with Dr. Valerie Daniels Carter.